Hello guys, my name is David and I'm doing my video for presentation 3 for CS490. What I'll be showing today is code that I made that is a basic slot machine. I'll explain how it works, how I can modify it to make it work exactly how I want it to, and how my basic code can translate to a more complex code made by a development team that works on online casinos. Okay, so first I will give a quick rundown of my code in its entirety and how it works. I did it in Java, and this choice was pretty arbitrary. I could have done it in something like C++ or in Python, but I figured Java was the best choice for a sort of simulated game like I'm doing. So the only package I imported was random, and the main just basically sets up my two modifiers, which I will explain later. And then we have our main spin method. So the spin method just allocates the 3 slots. I made a rather basic slot machine that only has 3 different symbols that'll come up. So the basic one is going to be down here where they're all just randomized, and they all have an equal chance of coming up. And the symbols that I chose are a 7, cherry, orange, bell, melon, and bar. If you ever played slots, those should be pretty familiar. Sort of the old school classic slots. And then I just have it print to the terminal, and then I have some win conditions. So if you get 3 of the same symbol, it's a big win. 2 of the same symbol, it's a small win, and then if it's 3 sevens, that's the jackpot. And I can give a quick demonstration of how it works. So if I do Java slot machine with no argument afterwards, this is the basic just fair slot machine. All the symbols have an equal chance of showing up. So I got melon and 2 bars, so I do get a small win. But if I do it a few times, oh, there's another small win. I guess I'm getting very lucky. See, so there's I get no win at all. So it's fair, and this is like what you would expect a slot machine to work as, but obviously they can be a lot more complex with more than just 3 slots, and more symbols and more modifiers. Things like depending on how much you bet and how many lines you want to bet on and stuff like that. Okay, so now I will go into my 2 modifiers. So the first one I have is called auto win. Pretty self-explanatory. If you use it, you will always win the jackpot. So I'll give a quick demonstration. You just basically, I use the 1 argument afterwards, and I get a jackpot. And so I can keep spinning, and I'll always get jackpots. I figured this was significant to make and demonstrate because it just shows that while you're playing slots, if they wanted to, they could manually or have an algorithm to just make you win. And obviously, if you win at a slot machine, it'll keep you interested, it'll keep you betting, and that's sort of one of their strategies to keep you there and keep you spending money. Okay, and my second modifier is called never win. This one's a bit more complex than the auto win. Basically, if you use it, it relatively looks the same, but you will basically never win at the slots. So I'll go ahead and show you. I use the 2 argument, and so you see I get 3 different symbols, so I get no win, and I can spin this as much as I want, and I will never get a win, not even a small win. And so the way I did this is I had it basically the randomization is locked, and then I added a certain amount to get it to a certain range of symbols. So basically, the first slot can only be these 2 symbols, the second slot can only be these 2 symbols, and the third slot can only be these 2 symbols, meaning they will never be the same symbol all at once. This is somewhat noticeable if you just roll a lot and you pay attention to the different slots. Like bell came up every time. So it is a sort of a basic way of making sure somebody never wins. But if I say added just 2 extra slots, so there were 5 symbols coming up, maybe added more symbols, I could make it pretty hidden and pretty complex in a way that the user wouldn't really know that they couldn't have a chance to win. And I thought this was significant because the online casino could, like I said, manually or have an algorithm to make this come up. So after you win a big jackpot, if you choose to continue to play, you will not win for a while, and they just sort of keep you interested with a few big wins every once in a while, but then in between there's just never winning. You're losing a lot of money, and just a general strategy of keeping people interested, but not so much so that the casinos themselves lose money. So that's basically the rundown of my code, and I could do a combination. So a combination that I think casinos would implement is maybe they start off pretty fair. You're winning every once in a while, and then maybe to keep you interested, they give you a big win. They give you a jackpot, and so you're thinking, oh, I'm winning big. Let's keep rolling. But then they'll go ahead and set it to where you have a long drought, and then maybe they keep it fair, so you get a small win. They keep it fair, you get some wins, and then you'll never win for a lot of rolls. And then maybe as soon as because they do a lot of studies to know when people will stop playing, so maybe when they think you're close to stopping, they give you a jackpot just to keep you interested. And so I gave just a basic demonstration of this, but like I said, larger companies that have entire teams dedicated to creating the software for online slot machines and online casinos, they could make it very complex and keep you interested using maybe properties that like video games and movies to keep you gambling. But really, it's entirely possible that they could be in control the entire time. So I thought it was important to demonstrate this. So thank you guys. That's going to be my presentation. If you have any questions, my information will be in the description of the YouTube video. Otherwise, be safe if you choose to gamble, whether it be in real life or online, because you never know unless you really understand the software that's being used. You never know what what kind of game you're really playing. Thanks.